Welcome to the Feria Cast. We'll bring you all things science, engineering, technology, and innovation. Today we are joined by Josh Carr, the CEO of Echo Water, a pioneering company at the forefront of hydrogen-based wellness, a systems thinker with operational grit. Josh leads with rare conviction, making bold moves like retiring Echo's best-selling $20 million product to focus on next-generation formulas and moving the entire supply chain out of China pre-tariff, saving nearly $10 million. He is passionate about challenging industry hype with science and integrity, positioning Echo as a brand that defies norms and builds what people truly need. So, Josh, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Let's start at the beginning. Tell us, what is Echo Water, and what core problem in the wellness industry were you setting out to solve when you founded it?
Well, for years, scientists and researchers, doctors have known all of the health benefits of hydrogen. And the challenge has been is there hasn't been a reliable device or a reliable system, I should say, for getting the hydrogen into your body. There's tablets and other things that are expensive and taste bad and full of chemicals and other things like that. But there hasn't been a very clean and efficient way to get your body the hydrogen it needs. And so that's the problem that Echo solves. We have a series of devices that give you hydrogen in your home, on the go, wherever you need it. You have clean water that is no extra anything in the water, just hydrogen gas. And that makes it very easy for your body to absorb and use, and for users to experience the health benefits without any of the junk that comes along with the other delivery mechanisms.
That's amazing. Your company is built around hydrogen water. So, for someone hearing about this for the first time, uh, what is it and what makes it different from every other wellness drink on the shelf?
Sure. Well, your body naturally produces hydrogen in the gut using fermentation. Your body uses that hydrogen for an untold number of things. Um, the problem that we have is that as we age and as because of our modern lifestyles and diets and things like that, our gut health is worse than ever. And so, as we age, our demand for hydrogen increases and our ability to produce it is simultaneously decreasing. And so, if you to know if you're hydrogen deficient, it's like you'd watch for things like aches and pains, fatigue. Um, Maybe your skin isn't quite how you want it to be, or your hair. Uh, you have poor gut health. You're not sleeping well. Your energy is not good. Just general feeling ugh kind of thing. I found out that hydrogen would work for me because I have a genetic arthritis, and I was given hydrogen by a friend, and the inflammation caused by my arthritis immediately started to go down, and I started seeing major improvements. And so that's what got me excited about it initially, is the benefits I saw personally as I used it. And so inflammation is one of those that is really, really popular. I think maybe the biggest trend right now that we're seeing is there's been a lot of research around athletic performance and recovery. And so a lot of people are using hydrogen water as a pre-workout and post-workout. Helps you recover faster, of course, reducing the inflammation, but there's also some other research showing it increases stamina and athletic performance and increases focus in mental health, or not mental health in that term, but brain health. So, uh, and so that's gotten really popular lately too. As more research comes out, we continue to find additional benefits.
That's amazing, Josh. So, hydrogen water is your bet. So, what is the biggest scientific misconception people have about it, and What convinced you it was a next frontier in wellness?
The biggest thing we see, like in comments on YouTube everywhere, is water already has hydrogen. And that's true. We use water as the delivery mechanism for the gas. And so the goal is to get the hydrogen gas into your stomach and small intestine, and then ultimately into your colon. Uh, but the stomach and small intestine, it can absorb it very, very quickly and has major benefits if you can get it there. So, water turns out to be a perfect delivery mechanism for hydrogen gas. And so, water already has hydrogen, but that's not what we're saying at all. We use the water to generate the hydrogen gas by using the same technology that's used in hydrogen fuel cells. And we split the hydrogen from the oxygen in the molecule using electricity. And then the oxygen we send out to atmosphere, and the hydrogen is diluted or saturated into the water. I always think that's kind of a cool thing how you have oxygen and hydrogen, which are flammable and very reactive. Uh, and then when they're combined and bound, they'll put out a fire. But when they're separated, they could start a fire. There's a lot of energy in those molecules. And so, anyway, I always think that's kind of interesting. But that's probably, as far as misconceptions go, there's a lot of people who've just never heard of it because it is fairly new. Um, Even though research has been done for a long time, because there was no way to get it to people, it wasn't a very popular thing to talk about. And so, people would say it's great for you, but what could you do about it? Right now, there's a way to get it. Um, and then the second part is, once they hear about it, then the next thing, well, maybe those two things. Isn't hydrogen flammable, and doesn't water already have hydrogen? Is probably what we hear the most. So,
Oh, wow, that's really amazing. I mean, uh, you said earlier that you use electricity to separate the hydrogen from the oxygen, and then the oxygen is sent to the atmosphere. So it's got me thinking. I mean, if this is a process that releases oxygen to the atmosphere, then it must actually, in my opinion, contributes to sustainability. I mean, this whole thing about global warming. So, I mean, sending oxygen to
mm,
the atmosphere. So, what are like the metrics of the sustainability that uh, eco water actually, uh, contributes?
yeah. Sending oxygen to the atmosphere is, we're probably not making a dent in any way. I mean, plants are doing that significantly more. But the biggest sustainability thing is, you look at all the wellness. Functional water is a huge category. Right now, people are buying water bottles, plastic water bottles that have vitamins or some claimed health benefit in the water. $3 to $6 per bottle. They're throwing those bottles away, and so it switches you from being a consumer where you're buying a lot of plastic bottles and throwing those away and putting a lot of chemicals that you don't really know what you're getting into your body, into we can make unlimited hydrogen in the palm of your hand, no refills, you don't have to add anything to the water, just recharge the batteries. And so we estimate that our average user is saving about 500 bottles of water per year, uh, from going to a landfill, something like that. Um, and also, you really don't know in a lot of those functional water beverages people are buying what's in there and what it's doing to your body, the dyes and the preservatives and all the other things that are in there. And so that's one of the beautiful things about hydrogen water is it's just clean water with hydrogen, no additives, nothing weird in the water. It's just a really efficient and clean delivery mechanism for what your body needs.
Wow, that's fantastic. So, your lab test revealed that top alkaline water brands contain zero hydrogen. So, what does that discovery say about the state of the wellness industry as a whole?
Well, there's a lot of hype in the wellness industry. And part of that is driven because the people that are passionate about their health are often early adopters. So they're willing to try almost anything that they'll see as a benefit to them. They'll experiment on themselves, try new things, and the general public is slower to adopt. They're maybe take some vitamins, but they're not going to try every single thing that comes out. And so there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of snake oil salesmen, a lot of people pitching things that are not legitimate. And sometimes people fall for those. Um, Alkaline water has been around for a long time. And there was purported health benefits. People believed that there would be health benefits. Um, and the truth is that the alkalinity of the water doesn't make it past your stomach. So it might be okay for helping with an upset stomach. Um, it might have some benefits like that, but beyond that, there are no proven health benefits. But but I can't be too upset with alkaline water because the study of alkaline water is what led to the discoveries of hydrogen water. Because there's oftentimes a similar process to make the water alkaline and to extract the hydrogen from the water. And so as they began studying for the hydrogen in the water, that's when they started discovering all of these benefits. And they started figuring out how your body uses hydrogen and what it's needed for. And so that research continues, and there's tons and tons of research happening around that category now. It's a very, very exciting and very popular thing to study. But yeah, alkaline is one of those of many things that have these like hyped up health claims, and there's really nothing to it.
That's great. So, your mission challenges big pharma and industry hype. So, what was a specific moment or insight that made you decide to build a company on transparency and science in such a noisy market?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of influencers out there who will say anything. One, to get attention, and two, they're being paid on almost everything they do, and so to get a sale, to make some money. And so as you see, they have these, you don't know exactly who's paying them, how they're getting paid, why they're saying what they're saying, who's promoting what. I think COVID was a big revealed to a lot of people what's really going on out there and how big pharma is willing to lie to you, the government's willing to lie to you, influencers are willing to lie to you, the news. All of these people are doing things that can be deceptive in order for them to get ahead. And so um, we realize that trust is at an all-time low. And the only way we're going to get this message out is by being as transparent as possible. So when we do research, we show everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. If it doesn't go our way, you're going to see that. If it goes our way, you're going to see that. We are transparent about our product benefits. We're transparent about our hardware failures, the challenges before the company. And so we just seek to be as transparent as possible. We think that by doing that, we'll be able to build trust across time from a very skeptical consumer base who've grown used to being lied to about so many things. There was a story in the US just recently where the FDA had approved all of these cold medicines that had been on the market for 20 years. And it turns out they don't do anything. They literally don't do anything. You put these chemicals in your body, they don't alleviate any of your cold symptoms. They don't do anything that's claimed on the package, but people would go to their pharmacy, be sick, they'd pick up something that they thought was medicine and take these chemicals because the government had said it was okay. Turns out no benefit at all from any of it. And that wasn't as big of a scandal as I thought it should be. I mean, you think of the millions and millions of dollars that were wasted on this stuff. And the pharmaceutical companies that sold it have no consequence for selling something that does nothing. And so trust is at an absolute all-time low, and we're trying to go the other direction and rebuild trust by being as transparent as we possibly can and kind of revealing what the game is, what everyone else is up to.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Josh, let's talk about your one of your boldest moves. So, you made headlines by retiring a $20 million best-selling product. So, what was the real story behind that decision, and what did it teach you about true leadership?
Well, I told the team at the time that I was discussing this decision. I said, 5 years from now, people will either say, that was such a bold and genius move. What a great leader. How amazing to do something so courageous. Um, or they'll say, what an idiot. He ruined the company and they went out of business because he made this dumb decision. And but it's both the same decision. And so you don't know in the moment, um, which way it's going to go. You have signals pointing you, but at some stage, it's really kind of just intuition and hunch and gut check. But I felt strongly that because of the tariffs that would be potentially coming if Trump got elected, and the headwinds in front of us, the challenges of sourcing a product from China, all of the copycats that we had, people that were trying to knock off our product and sell a cheap version of it, um, that it was the absolute right thing to do for the customer. So the new product was significantly better than the old product. And even though we could have kept selling a significant volume of those, the customer is going to have better health outcomes with the new product. They're going to see results faster with the new product. The new product is higher quality in every way. And so it was the right thing to do by the customer, even if it was maybe a very dangerous and scary thing to do for the company. And so I think as long as we're making customer centric decisions, like what is best for the customer, we're generally going to be going down the right path. And that was a hard decision and a scary decision. And we've been down this year in sales because of it. And so, um, you know, we're working hard to get back where we were, but I still think it was the right thing to do.
Wow, that was indeed a bold move, I would say. So you talk about the new products being better than the old products. So could you tell us how that is the case? How is the new product better than the old products?
Let me
I'd like to
just
hear.
grab it really quick. So I actually have both of them right here. This is our old bottle. This is the Echo Go Plus. And this was kind of revolutionary when it came out. You could generate hydrogen in the bottle. And it was very, very cool product. You'll see if you go on Amazon and search for hydrogen water, you'll see hundreds of bottles that tried to copy this design that look very similar to this. But this could make 4 parts per million of hydrogen. And this is the new bottle. This is the Echo Flask. It holds more water. Um, it holds 50% more water. It's a smart bottle that's app enabled. I don't know if you'll be able to see if my camera will focus.
Yeah,
Uh,
I can see it.
but you can sync it with your smartphone, track how much water and how much hydrogen you've gotten. It also creates hydrogen at 8 parts per million. So there's no other bottle that comes even remotely close to this on the market. And so the customer's getting twice as much hydrogen for each time they run the bottle. And the benefits from that are fabulous. And so because of all of those things, and it's actually a very similar price point to the old bottle, with significantly more features and benefits. It was once you combine all of those things, it is, it's scary, but it's a no brainer once you think of it through the customer's perspective.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I mean, I haven't really held the two products side by side on my hand, but even looking at the design alone, I can tell it's way more cooler than the old one. Yeah, so tell
Yeah.
us, Josh, let's talk about your incredible supply chain move. How did you know it was the right time to move Echo's entire operation out of China? And what was the hardest part of executing that transition?
Um, yeah. So not to go too political, but as the election went on, early in the election, it looked like it was going to be Trump versus Biden. Um, we knew that if Trump won, there would be a trade war with China. Things would get very tough. And but it's very, I don't know that if you've ever manufactured anything or tried to manufacture anything, but we started off by outsourcing to China to get cheap labor. Eventually, then they built the expertise. And so then you'd outsource to China because that's where all the engineering and manufacturing was. And that's kind of the situation you're in now. it's very difficult to build a product anywhere else because they have all the expertise. We have to use a very technical blow molding process to make a bottle that can hold the amount of pressure that this bottle holds. Because as the hydrogen goes into the water, it expanding the bottle and building up pressure. And so it has to be able to hold a huge amount of pressure, which is why we get that question all the time. Why isn't it glass? Why is it plastic? Because under that much pressure, the glass would shatter. And so um, in order for us to do that, it's very technical, a lot of specialized equipment, specialized engineering, specialized tooling. And so China is the place, right? That's the place that makes the most sense to build something like that. But with the trade war, with the challenges, potential tariffs, all of those kinds of things, um, we saw that as like a definite threat to what we were doing, and it would cause some major problems. And so, as it looked like that face-off was going to happen, and then looking at early results, it looked pretty obvious that Trump was going to win as those polls came back. Um, and so we moved as quickly as we could to get it out of China and get it. We're kind of near shoring, but the other side of that was it gives us an opportunity to take over the supply chain. So that adds a lot of complexity to the business, but it lets us control every aspect of it. So, we're sourcing each screw and sourcing each O-ring and sourcing every single component of the bottle, the raw plastics, all of those kinds of things that go into it, which is very complex, but we have complete control over every aspect of it. And that's one of those things that bears fruit over the long run and not the short run. But then when the tariffs came in, it immediately provided a benefit to us because all of our competitors, they're still, and all of those copycat bottles I was talking about are still bringing the bottle out of China. And they're dealing with hefty tariffs now. And I don't think that's going to go away. So,
Wow, that's quite an interesting one there. So, in a market full of hype, how do you balance being science forward and consumer friendly without compromising on either?
well, I think hype can sell in the short term, but we're not focused on the short term. So we may have a competitor that comes in and tells a bunch of lies and lies about us or lies about themselves and their performance, lies about the benefits of the products that they're selling. Um, and they can gobble up a bunch of attention and, create short term market value as money shifts to them. But that's not our focus. Our focus is very long term. And so those kinds of people will come and go, and there's nothing you can do about it. Um, they'll burn out as fast as they sprung up. And, you know, curiously, it's almost always the same people behind them going from hype to hype to hype. And there's really nothing we can do about those except for not worry about them and focus on the long-term objectives. And so we're trying to build a very solid scientific foundation and very good distribution channels. And so as we do that consistently across time, that's how we win. Well, in 5 years, our competitors will still be doing hype and sending spammy emails, and you'll be able to get our bottle in any local store, and will be available everywhere. And so, the long-term focus, I think, is the best approach there. And again, you want a relationship with your customer across time, right? They may buy the bottle has a 5-year warranty. So maybe they don't buy another bottle for 5 years. But when 5 years comes around, we want them to come to us to solve their hydrogen needs in 5 years as well. And then we have a whole line of products that are for the home. And so if they have a great experience with the business and with the flask, then they may say, I'd like to get something for my whole family, something for my home, clean water and hydrogen water in my home. And we'd like to build that relationship so that they trust us to solve those problems too.
Great. So, can you share a moment where everything nearly fell apart at Echo and what you learned from pushing through that crisis? Is there any such moment at all?
there's hundreds of moments like this. There's, very early on, when we were just getting going, we had somebody who was on the Joe Rogan podcast talk about us. Um, and it was only like 2 minutes. They talked about the company and talked about the product and the benefits. We didn't know that was going to happen. We hadn't paid them to do it. It was just an organic conversation. But Joe Rogan's podcast is so big that the sales exploded, as you can imagine. Um, that was a crazy time. So customers were waiting, 8 weeks sometimes to get product. It was, we were just a really small core team. And I remember, I'd work all day doing the business side of things. And then 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I would then head to the warehouse where we'd pack boxes all night long. And so we're just all running on, 3 hours of sleep, trying to take care of all the customers, fulfill all the orders. And you, if you fail to execute in a time like that, you've ruined your entire reputation. You have to refund all those customers because they didn't get their product. You don't get a second chance at that. And that was a pretty scary time. Um, I think when we first launched the Flask, uh, if you remember, we had canceled our best selling product that customers really loved to do this other product that I knew would be better. But it was a brand new product. And so the demand for the product was significantly higher than what we'd anticipated. And we had to spin up additional production lines, new tools, all these kinds of things. And if you've never done this, you don't really appreciate that it can take 12 weeks to build a tool. Um, and, um, you know, 3 months. And that's just the machining of the tool so that you can make the plastics and make the parts that you need. And that's not even putting it into production and all the other steps. And so getting up another production line, getting new tools up, there's this big gap between what the customers want and what we're able to fulfill. And so, and if any new product, you're going to find problems as soon as it gets into the customer's hands. We tested it very thoroughly and tried to break it in every way we could, but you never know what's going to happen until people actually have it. And so we found a lot of mistakes and challenges and things to fix very rapidly. So the launch of the Flask was a really difficult time. The app didn't work out of the gate. In fact, we're launching the new version of the app this week that fixes a bunch of people's sync problems and update problems. And so all of those things are pretty critical. If you can't get up every day and be excited about solving hard problems, then you're probably not cut out to be an entrepreneur. But that's what I love about it is every day it's something different. And I like solving hard problems. It's very engaging for my brain. And so as scary and horrible as it is, it's also invigorating and exciting. Both things at the same time. So I don't know. Is that a good answer?
Yeah, sure. Nailed it. So, tell us, for founders trying to build a lasting brand in a noisy market, so what's your number one piece of advice for staying true to a mission?
Oh, that's really hard. And, you know, because you have to do the long term, there's these right things that you have to do. Right. And everyone points to these big brands who've succeeded, like Apple and Nike, and how do they do it? They have some luxuries that small companies and startups don't have. They've got tons of money. They can raise debt. They have distribution, and they've got trust that they've built over, 30 years, 40 years in the market. And so the very hard thing about starting a business is you have to do sometimes things that are expedient and pragmatic that aren't the right long-term decision for the business, but they get you to the long term. So, you know, you might be embarrassed by some of the things you do, but you have to bring money in the door. You have to, uh, close some deals, and you have to pay the bills in order for you to achieve your long-term vision. And so, I would say you shouldn't ever do anything that you can't walk back from. Jeff Bezos talks about it as one-way doors and two-way doors. If you can try something and turn around and walk right back out, that's a two-way door and you're free to experiment. You have to be more careful if you can't reverse a decision. But there are things like that all the time where you're like, should we partner with this group or this company? Should we do this? And, like if we were in Apple's position or Nike's position, the answer would be no. We want to be in their position. But for today, to solve the problems, to pay the employees, to keep the lights on, maybe the answer is yes. But if you do that too much and lose focus of the long term, then you're never going to make it. And so it's that balance, that tension of doing the right thing across the long term, but also winning the day and taking care of your people and making sure that you are paying the bills. And it's a hard challenge. You're going to be faced with lots of questions and lots of things like that, where you're like, I know this is the wrong thing to do, and also I have to do it. And I don't mean morally wrong. I just mean from a brand standpoint. It uh, doesn't showcase your brand the way you'd love it to be showcased. I don't think you should ever do anything that's morally wrong or anything you'd regret. As far as those things go, nothing you'd regret on your deathbed, but um, collaborations or uh, co-branded things. There's lots of those things where you're just like, "Ah, I don't love it, but it is important that the business stays in business." So,
Oh, well, that's a great piece of advice. So, part of the theme of this podcast is centered around innovation. So, for that reason, there's this common question that I like to ask every guest that come on this show. So, tell us, Josh, what does innovation mean to you, and how does it relate to your field in the context of health, wellness, and also responsible business?
mm. I think it's the natural state of humans. Like this is what your mind wants to do, right? Uh, if we're left alone, um, and no one bothers us, no government, no neighbors, we're just left alone. I think the natural state that we go into is a very natural capitalist system where we're bartering and selling to our neighbors. I've got two chickens, you've got milk, let's figure this out. And innovation is the next phase of that, because your mind naturally wants to solve problems. As you see problems and you see solutions, and you set about experimenting to solve those, the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to begin to innovate. And it's only in large organizations that are unnaturally sustained, like through government programs or subsidies or other things, uh, where innovation dies, when the incentive to innovate goes away. And so I think innovation is like key to fulfillment, happiness, and survival of a company, until you get mixed up in the graft and the government sides of things. And it's also very fulfilling, and I think people like doing it. Um, you know, Changing things from chaos into order. It's extremely satisfying to do. And so, um, I think innovation is, it's very rare that you do this 10x better version of something. It's pretty common that you can make it 1% better every day. And I think if you constantly do that, where you wake up in 10 years would shock the world, right?
Well, that was quite an interesting one there. So, finally, tell us, where can our listeners go learn more about you and your work at Echo?
I think the best place to go is just to our website, echowater.com. I mean, you could go to all of our socials and stuff and see pretty pictures, but there's a lot of information on echowater.com. We link to all of the different studies. Anytime we call out a benefit or talk about something that hydrogen does for you, we try to link to a study that shows that. Um, and just to make that connection with people so they know we're not just making this stuff up, but here's a university that studied this and here's the results. So you can learn a lot there. You can see the product mix, and our customer service team is amazing. So if you had any questions, you could always just call in. You could chat, whatever, and they'll be able to answer anything. And so I think that's a great way to go. We don't have huge retail distribution yet. We are available in Shield stores, and few other places that are less well known. That's something we're working on and hoping to get great distribution this next year. But our website is a great spot to find out everything you ever want to know.
Great. So it's been a really awesome conversation with you, and I'm totally excited to have you on the show today.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be on the show and nice to meet you.